another book recommendation video by Sbuda Buddha. Thank you very much for being a part of the family. Click the link in the description. Go subscribe to the podcast, The Hustlers Corner. We are now boasting over 200,000 subscribers, all because of you. Thank you, my hustlers. I appreciate you. I love you. On this platform, we are now boasting over 100,000 subscribers, all because of you. Thank you for being a part of the family. Today, we're looking at this book, this great man over here. You always hear the name being thrown around. If you go read this book, it'll give you an idea as to who this man was, this great man. This book is by Benjamin Pogrant, Sobukwe and Apartheid. As you open this book on the first page, it says Sobukwe and Apartheid. The slide makes it a bit difficult for you to see, but then it's got a picture of him and the author of the book. Back in his heydays, Mr. Robert Sobukwe. This book is dedicated for Miliswa Dalinjebo, Dedani Zizwe, Dinile Sizwe, Jennifer, Amanda, Daniel, and Gideon. The acknowledgements of this book say many people helped in the preparation of this book. The names of most of them are in the text. Anonymity has been necessary in some instances because of the South African political situation or other factors. I hope they all find that they have been accurately and reasonably reported. I owe particular thanks to Randolph Vigney, who read the text and offered a host of informed and constructive comments to Hamilton Zoli-Lekeke, who was always cheerfully willing to share his knowledge, to Dennis Siwisa, who read the text and who has been a source of invaluable information. And I thank Veronica Zotwa Sobukwe, not only for many years of friendship, but for his support in writing of this book and for reading the text. Many thanks are also due to my literary agent. And then he goes on to thank some of his friends, some of his confidants and comrades. And remember, this book was written after he had passed on. Yes, it's written by this gentleman over here, Mr. Benjamin Pogrant. The preface of this book says, "Then out spake brave Horatius, the captain of the gate, to every man upon this earth, death cometh soon or late, and how can man die better than facing fearful odds for the ashes of his fathers and the temples of his gods?" Close quote by Thomas Babington Macaulay, The Lays of Ancient Rome. As the sky began to lighten on a late summer's morning in South Africa, Robert Mangaliso Sobukwe left his home in Soweto to walk to the nearest police station. He was going to demand that he be arrested. 6 other men were with him. 3 more joined them during their walk of about 4.5 kilometers. All were blacks. Each newcomer received a salute, right hand raised, the palm open, and sonorous greeting, "I-Afrika," Zulu and Xhosa for "O Africa." Each respondent with the same salute and the cry, "Izwelethu," our country. Unfortunately, it is not yet possible to write about South Africa without constant references to racial groups. That is what apartheid has been about, and to avoid references would be both confusing and require a distortion of reality. There is no universal agreement about the terms to be used, and usage in any event changes from time to time. The words I generally use are Asians, blacks, coloreds, and whites. How can a man die better? Sobukwe and Apartheid. Guys, go get this book. Let me just read page 1. And then from there, I'll leave it there, right? I just read page 1. Robert Mangaliso Sobukwe was born in Graaff-Reinet, known as the Gem of the Karoo, in the southeast of South Africa. The Karoo is a vast semi-arid stretch in the center of the country. But Graaff-Reinet on its eastern edge has the blessing of the water from Sunday's River to its green and fertile. The town was founded in 1786. Then the Cape was under the control of Holland and was named after the governor of the time, Cornelius Jacob van der Graaf, and his wife, Reinet. The early history of the town was associated with descent. At the turn of the 18th century, Dutch frontiermen rebelled against the colonial government in Cape Town, a long 680 kilometers away, apparently because they wanted a more aggressive military policy against the indigenous Xhosa blacks. This led to a short-lived republic. But with this in the past, the town settled into a rural tranquility. As it grew, it followed the normal South African pattern of a white town with a separate location, a distance away for the non-whites, in this case, a mixture of blacks, mixed race colors. At the start of the 1920s, the official population count was about 10.7 million, 5.1 thousand whites, 3,600 colors, 1,800, sorry, these are millions. 5.1 million whites, 3.6 million colors, 1.8 million blacks. No, man. This is not 10 million, this is 10,000 actually. At the start of the 1920s, the official population count, or the population count, which does not necessarily represent the actual real number, but maybe these were the numbers that were counted at the time in that town, Graaff-Reinet. The start of the 1920s, the population count there was about 10,700 people, 5.1 thousand whites, 3,600 coloreds, 1,800 blacks, and 18 Asians. Throughout the town's whites have been predominantly Afrikaners. They are fiercely and proudly so. Judging from the view of a retired security policeman in March 1984, Lieutenant Hendrik Cornelius Jacobus Pitoit, testifying in a civil action brought against him and others by a detainee alleging torture, told the judge, "I come from Graaff-Reinet, where even the dogs bark in Afrikaans." The nerve and the arrogance at the time. The White Town lies in a hollow and has become renowned for its restoration and preservation of old buildings in the attractive Cape Dutch style. Prosperity once came from ostrich feathers, but this has been replaced by income from the district's sheep and fruit. You're going to read further. I'll leave it here for now. And I'm just going to read the synopsis at the back, and then I'll wrap up the video. All right, let's quickly go. 30 years ago, Robert Mangaliso Sobukwe led a mass defiance of the past laws of South Africa. He persuaded blacks to present themselves at police stations and demand arrest. A determinedly non-violent protest turned to tragedy when police opened fire to a crowd, killing about 69. It was the 21st of March 1960 at Sharpeville and Sobukwe's last day of liberty. The protest was a turning point. Afrikaner rule stiffened and black resistance went underground. International opinion hardened against apartheid. Sobukwe, leader of the Pan-Africanist Congress, was jailed for about 3 years for incitement. At the end of his sentence, the government, so fearful of his power, influence, and intellect, rushed through the Sobukwe clause to keep him in jail. Year by year, for the next 6 years, Sobukwe was kept in near solitary confinement on Robben Island, rejecting any compromise with white authority. After 9 years of jail, Sobukwe was released into banishment and house arrest in the small town of Kimberley. He died there 9 years later in February 1978. This book is the story of a remarkable man. It is also the story of a friendship between Robert Sobukwe and Benjamin Pogrund, whose joint experiences and passionate debates chart the course of a tyrannous regime and the development of concerted black resistance. Benjamin Pogrund, former deputy editor of the Rand Daily Mail, went to Britain in 1986 with his family after the newspaper was closed. He became editorial director of the Panos Institute in London, which disseminates information to the third world development and environment. He appears frequently on British television and radio as a commentator on Southern Africa. Guys, go get this book. Understand the formation of the ANC. Understand the formation of the PAC. Understand why the Sobukwe clause was created by the apartheid regime. Understand history. Understand where we come from. Understand South Africa's Pan-Africanism at the time. May this man's soul rest in peace. Robert Mangaliso Sobukwe. Lala ngoxolo baba. Izwe lethu, i-Africa. Go get this one, guys. I recommend it. I'll see you on the next book recommendation. But when you see this one, you bump into it, go get it. Danko.